Hello everyone, this is Dr. Farley, and this video is to help you help explain aspects of the research project so that everyone is on a good foundation as we move forward to finish out the semester. I know we have quite a lot of work left, and that in the mini term that this can be a little more intense than the regular semester, but if you ever come into any issues or have any problems or questions as we move forward, please do ask, and I'm here to help you out with that. All right, so to start our explanation here, we are going to talk about the goals. So what is this project all about? English 102, it really is based around research and creating a research paper. And the reason that we do that is for this first point here is to explore your topic in depth. Academic rigor requires that you invest the time and energy to read, research, understand information in a new way. And that kind of brings me to the second point there. Synthesize a variety of information to a well-informed viewpoint. So as you're taking in a variety of sources, you are coming to understand them, and you are using that information to create your own perspective that you're putting forward. So there's a couple different types of research papers. One is a literature review, which just expresses the viewpoints of other authors. You're sort of collecting that information and presenting what other people think about a subject. That's not what we're doing here. Your job is to synthesize the information into your own viewpoint, present that to us, and use your sources as expert material to support the points that you've already tried to make. That also brings us to number 3. You're building an argument with expert information. So every quote that you use and every source that you use needs to be adding expertise to your work. And that is, information that's not general information. That's not sort of unsubstantiated opinions or viewpoints. It is the evidence and the insight that we need to understand your topic more. And we could talk about that later more if you would like. The last one, using academic writing to lay out a logical and supported argument, is, again, that's a sort of basic goal of composition courses in general. So formal writing and academic tone. We're not using personal perspectives or anecdotes. We are not using first or second person pronouns or anything else like that, except in quotes. You are thinking about the ideas. Your focus is on presenting a straightforward, logical, detailed, and comprehensive argument. All right, so that's what the purpose of this class and this project is, and you'll see how the pieces fit together. First thing I want to do is talk about kind of thematically what this is like. I know choosing a topic here can be very confusing and challenging. I know we've talked through a variety of different themes. I know some people have sort of focused more on plot summaries than others. You really want to be thinking about beyond just what's happening in the book to what does it mean. What are the messages that the author is trying to send the reader that we can think about in our own society and in our own lives? And so that is the greater point of what we're trying to reach. So if we're thinking of different themes in the book that you guys have identified in your different discussions, here I've listed a few: lives of immigrants, family, identity, morality, redemption. The list that's certainly not exhaustive. There's many more ideas that you guys have expressed. All of those you can build a paper around. So, but you do want to have a sort of starting point. And I know this is still fairly abstract, so I thought I would work through an example here. What you want to choose is something that sort of has the book as the foundation. And there's 2 different ways you can write this paper. You can write this paper and use examples and text and stories from the book throughout your paper. and that is sort of doing a textual analysis of the novel itself. Or you can simply take one of the themes from that novel and explore it sort of on its own merits. And here I can kind of show you how that might work in both ways for these two different pathways in this example that I have. So as you can see, the topic that I chose was identity and immigration. And so that's the overall topic. The key thing that you want to do when you're starting your paper and you're starting your research is, what is one thing that I want my reader to have learned when I finish this paper? They need to have something that they're learning, something that's new, something that's an additional insight. What is it that I want to show them? What do I have to say? In my particular example, my idea is about how personal identities can change in the process of immigration. And so that's my topic. So I have chosen a few different sections for my paper here. And you'll see the sections: homeland, adoptive country, and choose new identity here. And you also see that there's an order to these, right? In this case, it's a chronological order. A person's life starts out in the homeland. They immigrate from the homeland to an adoptive country, and which becomes their new home. After they move to that country, in many ways, they're able to choose a new identity from the one that they had in their place of birth. So you can explore these ideas on their own merit. In other words, how any individual coming from any homeland and moving to a new country has the ability to adapt and acquire new ideas and change their own lives and perceptions. So you can sort of illustrate how this can work for anyone. In this way, you're not using any quotes from the book necessarily in the body of your text. If you'd like to use something from the Dew Breaker in the introduction to kind of give a framework for these ideas, that's perfectly fine. If you don't want to use a novel at all, that's also fine. It just depends on how you want to approach it. So these ideas and these sorts of things, this is a particular viewpoint about identity and immigration. There is a logical order to these ideas, and again, you can work through these ideas completely on their own merits, or you can pull different quotes and ideas from the novel to support these points as well. All right, so I've got sort of the big ideas of my paper here. You see a chronological progression. You see the big idea that I believe that as people move to new countries, they are able to shape their own personal identity in new ways. That starts in the homeland. You'll see a couple different major points here for the homeland. And again, this is not an exhaustive example. I'm just trying to put together a few things to help you understand. Social context is what's happening in the country. So in the case of the Dew Breaker, what was happening in Haiti, what was happening with the dictatorship, the sort of factual historical context. The people were being tortured and beaten. The dictator had a sort of martial law in the country. Those sorts of things are the social context. The personal context for someone like Ka's father, who was the Dew Breaker, it's his personal participation in this, in the things that he did and said and thought within that social context. So here's one man within this society. As he moves into an adoptive country, which is the next section here, there's a couple of things that happen. One is that, generally speaking, the people in America where he moved would not really have known what was going on in Haiti. The average American probably has very little knowledge of Haitian history and culture and society. The people around him, who are surrounding him, who are totally ignorant of that context, the entire context which came to define his life, now is gone, and he's in a totally new social context. Because people don't know or understand those things, that creates a different set of circumstances. Likewise, from the personal context, all of those relationships, familial relationships, friends, even relationships with police or government officials or anything else, all of those are gone and replaced. And so that moves us into our final section, which is, in some ways, you are able to change and adapt, and you can see the Father does that by going from someone who was torturing and killing people to a barber, someone who's just a quiet family man who loves his daughter and his wife. And that ability to be removed from that context enables people to do this. So that's sort of the final section of the paper. So you can use the context of the book. You can talk about this from someone in general, any person. All right, so hopefully that gives you an illustration of what I'm talking about with a theme from the book and how you can explore that there. The steps here, I'm going to go through these quickly. The first one is annotated bibliographies. Here you're going to read a variety of sources. This could be academic journals, newspapers, interviews, government documents, laws, anything. Your job is to explore and understand those sources. You're going to find quotes from those sources because you need something to use in your research paper. You should create a summary of the important concepts within that source. Again, that is used so that you are thinking deeply about the meaning of that source and what's going on as conceptually. In MLA format, something to do on the front end when you're doing your annotated bibliographies. If you create those MLA citations, you won't have to do that later on. So just have those handy when you're doing your bibliographies. Simultaneously, you'll be doing class discussions to sort of reflect on the process. You're explaining to your classmates the things that you found and the things maybe that you would like to find. That will give others a chance to kind of give you feedback. Maybe they found something you might be interested in. That might be helpful to you. And likewise, as you're doing peer responses, you might be able to help others. So hopefully that process and collaboration is good for you. After we finish our bibliographies, we obviously have to write the paper, and that's going to be a big undertaking, but I know every semester, every 102 class has a big job in hand, and yet I can assure you that many people have come through it alive and well, so it's a chance to get your ideas out, get your quotes in, get everything structured so we have something to look at, we can revise it and edit it and complete the work here, which is our final draft. That's the culmination of everything that you've done over the last 3 months. A few due dates here. We have a due date a week from Saturday for our first bibliography. So first 3 weeks are researching, gathering sources, finding ideas. Hopefully you should be thinking about the themes similarly to what I created in the previous slide with the breaking down themes and sections and ideas in your paper. You should be doing that while you're collecting your quotes so that you understand what information you need to support your paper. We'll have a few weeks after we have the bibliography to come up with our rough draft. That includes spring break. And then we'll have another couple of weeks to edit and change before we turn in our final draft in May. So we have a ways to go. We have a lot of time, but we also have a lot of work. So I hope this overview has helped you out to help you understand the basic process of defining an idea that you want to share with the class, understanding that you're going to be finding information that is going to be useful to support that idea. That's the bibliographies and the research phase. You're going to be assembling that information, synthesizing those ideas, and putting them together into a draft so that we can see what you're thinking and how you're working through. We're going to revise those ideas and come up with something great so you have a perfect process and finished product for this semester. If you do have any questions about this or want additional elaboration, please let me know, and that is what I'm here for. I hope this video helps out. Thank you.